I think that's a good segue, right? Since he was just playing a single-player game, he just finished one.
Well, except we have to do gaming news first.
Yeah, Ryan. Oh no, we didn't do it professionally enough.
This is why you don't host.
This is why I don't.
Hey everybody, welcome to the All Chat Gaming Podcast. I am your host this week, and my name is Nick, and I am joined, as always, by...
Ryan.
Keithan.
And Tanner.
And how's your week been, guys?
Good.
Yes.
Anything exciting happen?
No.
No, I worked.
Yeah,
a lot.
They weren't prepared for this question. I didn't tell them that this was in the outline. I got him!
I would have come up with something great, but I didn't.
Like, you went, you braved the stormy
I did
seas
ride a
and-
shark
Really?
and threw a trident through a whale's eye and ate it for breakfast.
But that's like every week for you.
Yeah, well, you know.
You'll have to tell me all about that later, 'cause that sounds pretty fun. But yeah, pretty standard week for me as well. But anyways, so we're going to go ahead and talk about what we've played this week. And I'm going to go ahead and start because I actually played something not World of Warcraft this week, even though I still played World of Warcraft. But I played something else as well. So I bought Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition yesterday for the Nintendo Switch. It came out yesterday. And this was a game that was originally out on the Wii U. And this is kind of a re-release, but there was also a Nintendo 3DS version. And there's a bunch of DLC from both versions. So this version, the Switch version, has all the DLC from both versions of the game, plus the original game, and a couple extra things. So actually a pretty solid deal for the $60 that I paid for it. And I've been having a lot of fun with it. But I have to ask you guys, have you ever played a Dynasty Warriors game?
Yeah.
I played a couple minutes of one that was free, and I hated it.
Define that.
So you've never played a Dynasty Warriors game?
I guess not.
So basically, you pick like a class of a character, and you just go around mowing down hordes of enemies, like no problem.
That sounds like a lot of games.
I mean,
No, but you're stupidly overpowered.
but like it's like hundreds of enemies, and like they die in like one or two hits. But you have all these combos you can do and stuff.
What if that's just how I naturally play any video game? Sure. Then yes, I have played those games.
And every game you play is a Dynasty Warriors game.
Especially Dark Souls. So easy.
Yeah, you could just button mash in that game and get away with stuff, definitely. Because that's how that game
Mow
works.
down those easy bosses.
Yeah, those easy bosses.
Okay.
But yeah, that's basically what a Dynasty Warriors game is. And so Hyrule Warriors is a Dynasty Warriors game with a Legend of Zelda skin on it. So there's a bunch of Legend of Zelda characters, Legend of Zelda enemies, and a bunch of references to all the games. I think this version has 42 playable characters, and you have to unlock some of them, of course. But you got Link and Zelda. There's Impa, and there's like even obscure characters like
Ganon.
Fi or Fi.
Fi. Well, I mean, Fi's not.
Fi foam? Faux foam?
Fi isn't obscure, but like
He calls her Fi, I call her Fi.
it's
I call
Fi.
her Pho.
Sifa.
It's Fi, I'm pretty sure. But there's characters from basically every Zelda game, like even from Link's Awakening, which is not a very well-known Zelda game. I haven't even played that one. But it's a really fun game. I'll say that it's extremely therapeutic because you can just mow down all these enemies with these insane combos, and you just watch them all go flying across the map after you kill them, and it's just so
It's actually
satisfying.
pretty fun to watch, too.
Then what's the point of it, though? Just may I ask? What's the challenge?
Well, there's bosses that appear on the map. You have to capture forts and keeps, and you kind of have to control the map. There's a lot more. I don't know if Hyrule Warriors is different from actual Dynasty Warriors games, but in Hyrule Warriors, you have to control the keeps and the forts, and it's a little bit more strategic because you have your allies that you can command to go to other keeps and other places to defeat enemies and stuff. So there's a little bit more strategy involved. So on top of mowing down hordes of enemies, there's
It's
actual
not just
goal in
mowing down
mind.
people. You actually have to do some strategizing.
There are some modes where you can just mow down waves of enemies, but the basic game has that strategy involved. But why are you two looking at each other like that?
I wasn't looking at
They're
him.
in love.
No, Tanner was looking at something
Oh.
over here. And I'm
They're in
like,
love.
And then Ryan just
You
naturally
guys, you
stared
just
at
look
me.
so intense. You're like,
I'm in deep thought about Dynasty games.
anyways.
Okay.
But yeah, I've really been enjoying the game. It's actually a really fun co-op game as well. So it's been a lot of fun. I've actually already put 10 hours into the game,
Wow.
and
You
I've
bought it
only
yes-
I've only had the game for 24 hours. So almost half the time that I've owned the game,
That's not even
I've put in 10 hours.
How do you do that? I could never. I mean, not because I don't want to. Just I don't know.
I don't know.
But good job.
At least 3 or 4 of those hours was with Brian.
Yeah, my friend Brian came over and we played it. So at least I was with someone else when I put in the first 5 hours. And then the second 5 hours I did by myself.
So nice and social.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
good.
I did something social. I'm not just a no-life hardcore gamer. I have social life. I have a social
Thanks
life.
to multiplayer games.
Thanks to multiplayer gaming.
Okay.
Anyways, but yeah, so that's... I also did play World of Warcraft this week, but same old, same old. I did a raid. I died on pretty much every boss, but you know, it's just because I'm bad. So,
like a boss.
yeah. But anyways, that's what I've played this week. So, Ryan.
Oh, I played some Heroes of the Storm, naturally. I played some Minecraft with Keefin. I did if you're watching our Games with Gold segments, I played a little bit of the Metal Gear 5, which you can go to that video to check out what we had to say about that. It was pretty fun. I played some. I always play like bits and pieces of games. What else did I play? I think that was about it. Heroes, Minecraft, and Metal Gear.
Didn't we play Overwatch this week too?
Oh yes, we did play a little bit of Overwatch.
Yeah,
All 4 of us.
Yeah, all 4 of us played it. Well,
Which is
there was
my
this
last
weird
video.
robot guy that was in place of me,
Oh
but
yeah. Some board.
Robot voice and face.
yeah, it was
Yeah,
weird.
it's great.
But it was supposed to represent me, I guess.
I hope he comes back.
Yeah.
This new AI we're working on to replace Nick.
Yeah. I mean, I hope he comes back too because he was hard carrying those Overwatch. So,
Yeah.
So I didn't have that much of an exciting week either. I played some more Zelda. Then I also did Metal Gear Solid for Games with Gold, and then I also played some Vanquish, which was the other one, and then some Minecraft. We were preparing for some Let's Plays that we're all going to do in Minecraft. Hopefully they'll be fun. They should be.
They will be.
Yeah, the one map that we were working on is gonna be. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
And that part you probably won't see for a while. There is a part where we just made some chests that'll be like the first thing people will see, but the other one we'll probably have to wait till we forget it.
Yeah, just to make it a little fair.
But I also learned that I was learning the console commands or the computer commands that you can do. So I would like randomly make him not in creative mode anymore and just throw him in survival and kill him. Or I would just type in commands to kill him and then I'd teleport him to me and then I would change the time of the day and then change it to peaceful. I'd just do everything I could.
It scared me every time he teleported me.
I also was messing around with creating like a large amount of just anything. So like I was trying to test it and I created a bunch of TNT, like a huge amount of it because I wanted to create something else. So I wanted to test it with TNT because I knew if I messed it up it would just leave. But when it leaves, it definitely leaves a crater. So that'll be seen eventually because holy crap did I destroy a huge section of the map. It's a little bit further away from where I set our spawn
When did
point.
that happen?
That was after you were done.
Oh.
And I added a couple rooms as well to our place.
Nice.
But it should be fun. But other than that, I played some League of Legends and nothing really all that different.
Okay. Well, for me, I didn't play too much, but I did also play some Minecraft with my wife. She really likes Minecraft, and so it's a good game that we can play together. We were playing a custom map called 75 Ways to Die, and what you do is that there are 75 rooms in this map, and each room you have to find a creative way to kill yourself. Now, the way is provided, but you have to figure out what that is. And until you kill yourself, you can't get to the next room. And so some are super easy, like in the chest, it was just a bucket of lava, and you just pour the lava, and then you die. And then others were super hard where there were invisible blocks, and you had to parkour between, find out where they are, and and do it before you start getting hungry so you can sprint, because you need to sprint to be able to make the jumps, and then be able to get up onto a pressure plate, which then kills you. Super difficult, and you just never knew which room would be like what. We still haven't finished it. actually, because it was that kind of it was intense, and we played it twice for like 2 hours each, and it was crazy. But I like maps like that because it's very engaging, it's very creative, and it's something you can play for a long time. Another thing that I played just a little bit, but it's because I beat it finally, was
Half-Life.
Half-Life.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, last time I was talking about how I
Half-Life.
Oh, good job.
Was it Half-Life?
I'm proud of you, Nick.
It was Half-Life, wasn't it?
That's
I bet it was
it.
Half-Life.
Okay,
I'm
well,
offended.
Wait, what's
Sorry.
wrong with my name?
Yeah, it's just not as cool as Keithan.
Actually, I can't really argue with that at all.
Marine is the coolest.
Yeah.
Okay. But I actually
Keithan.
last time when I was talking about it, I was like right near the end boss. And it was a little difficult at first just because I was like, oh, I don't know how to beat this guy. Do you know who I'm talking about? The like alien dude with his head that would open up. You played the game, the last boss.
It's been a very, 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 very.
Anyway,
very,
so
very,
I thought there was some,
very,
like-
very, 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 very
I thought-
long time.
Okay.
It's been half a life since I've played it.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
I'm done.
So I thought like I had to like find this tricky way to like jump up to this thing and wait for his head to open and like throw a grenade in it, which I tried and was actually told to do by one of my wife's brothers. Anyway, I didn't need to do that because I had actually saved all of my good ammo and good weapons since I was playing it, because I always held on to them because I'm like, oh, I'm going to need them for something.
You're a hoarder. You're
I
like
know.
me, and then I never end up using them. And
I
I'm
know.
Like,
It's like, dang it. And so I actually, eventually, I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to... So I just hid behind this thing. I'm like, I'm just going to shoot at him with all these high-powered guns that I've saved. It's probably not going to do anything, but I was just so tired of trying to beat him because it was frustrating. And so I just had this Magnum, and I just shot him, like, and just sat there for like 5 minutes and shot him. And all of a sudden, he's like, "Rah! Now I'm dead."
And he actually said that.
Yeah.
He said, "No, I'm dead."
Now I'm dead. I wasn't before, but now I am. And so then
I did have
won.
half a life. Now I have no life.
We need lives.
Anyway, so I'm glad I beat that, and I'll eventually start Half-Life 2. I mean, hopefully soon, but I don't know. I think a break is in order. And yeah,
No breaks.
what?
No breaks for you.
Okay, I'll jump.
We're hardcore gamers.
I'll jump right into Half-Life 3.
Good.
Oh, I think that's a good segue, right? Since he was just playing a single player game, he just finished one.
Well, except we have to do gaming news first.
Yeah, Ryan. Oh no, we didn't do it professionally enough.
This is why you don't host.
This is why I
Actually, I want you to host next week. I was actually going to suggest that, but now I'm not so sure.
Not
He had a
anymore.
topic in mind already. For like 2 weeks he's had one. He probably doesn't remember it.
Apparently not.
Actually,
Anyways, well, we'll go ahead and jump right into gaming news and just news in general, since we have a non-gaming news item this
we
week.
do. It's
But
exciting, though.
I'll go ahead and turn it over to Keithan for a few minutes.
So the first thing, the non-gaming news, but I still think it's tech news, so it counts, is has anyone besides Ryan, because I already talked about it with him, seen the Google AI? The
Yes.
new Google AI.
Nope.
Okay, so
Wow.
that's 3.
You haven't.
It is cool. So they actually have, it's Google
Scary.
Assistant. What's wrong with you?
I'm
it's
scared.
the new Google Assistant, essentially, and what it's going to be able to do is you could tell it, like, hey, order me a pizza at Pizza Hut, or wherever, and it will call for you, and it talks very human-like. It'll even say, it'll say, I'm trying to order a pizza for this person, and it'll do it within the boundaries you set.
It'll say, "Dang it."
I don't know that it does that. It's obviously it's not perfect. One of the demos they did was like really awesome, and it like worked flawlessly. Another one was a little bit
The one I heard was the Google AI getting calling for a haircut. Yeah, scheduling a haircut. And if I wouldn't have been told that was the Google AI, I would have thought it was just.
an
I'm like,
assistant.
why is this? Why am I listening to this on the radio right now? Like I would have
Yeah.
been a little confused.
Yeah, like it sounds so real, and it's able to do that. And I mean, honestly, if that could translate to gaming at some point, just I don't know if it would, but I'm just saying like the advancements that we have in AI, I mean, there's always advancements in AI for video games as well. I don't know how that would directly correlate in any way, but it could. But either way, it's cool.
Does this mean a lot of women in sexual call centers are going to be out of a job?
I don't.
Why don't we put that on hold? Get it? Put it on
I'm
hold.
just thinking about the economy here, guys.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but a lot of the
pin on that
secretaries
idea.
might be if it gets good enough.
Mm.
But like it just sounds so good, and obviously that was a controlled environment that they had it in. So I'm guessing in the wild it wouldn't work exactly that great, but still it was incredibly cool to listen to that and see the advancements that we're making technologically. The other gaming news is the new Halo game was announced.
Yay!
It's a new Halo game that's in an arcade. It's an arcade shooter.
Arcade only.
Wait, remind me what an arcade shooter is?
Have you ever
You
gone
mean
to
like
an
those
arcade?
hunting games?
Yeah, like where you have like the guns and it's like an on-rails shooter and you're shooting.
Wait, with the toy guns? Like at the
No, with the real ones.
Yeah, the real ones, idiot.
the toy guns at the arcade, right?
So it's called Halo Fireteam Raven, and it will require no less than a 130-inch 4K arcade cabinet. So it looks beautiful. I watched a thing for it because I wanted to give it a little bit of a chance. And I will admit, for an arcade shooter, or a game in general, it looks like Halo. It looks like a really beautiful game. But it is on rails, and it is just an arcade shooter, like, I don't know, like those haunted house ones or whatever they were. Like all those ones where it takes you from point to point and things pop up on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially very much like that. At some points I saw someone like in a Warthog or in like a Banshee, or not even a Banshee, I don't remember
Or a
what it
tank
was.
for Ryan.
Probably not.
No.
But
I wouldn't play.
come on. Like, right now, Xbox is really needing some strong, especially story-driven games, or just strong games in general. And this is the Halo game we're coming out with, and I know it's not even 343, and it's in correlation with them, it says, but it's not them doing it directly, so I'm sure they're still doing Halo 6.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, is this the announcement we want? Unless they're going to announce right after that, oh, guess what? Well, we also have Halo coming out at the end of this year, and this is like the thing that we have to get you pumped up for it. That's cool. That would be like what Bethesda did with Fallout Shelter, and then having Fallout 4 come out later that year. So if that's what their plan is, good job. But if it's not, come on.
So you're not happy about this news?
I mean, I'm not going to go to an arcade.
How often do we go to arcades?
Well, we should go more.
We need to go to arcades more, apparently.
Yeah,
Let's do
we'll
it.
film it. We'll film it.
Odd man out. Go to the arcade.
It is co-op. I did see that. So
Okay, so from a business standpoint, why do you think they're doing this? I mean, arcades kind of are becoming a thing of the past because you can
they're
have.
good for kids.
They're good
still.
for kids,
like
yeah.
the Nickelcade. But I don't know where they're gonna put a 130-inch 4K arcade, or who's gonna afford that.
Can you imagine the line for that and the kids fighting over it?
I just don't know who's going to implement this. I don't know how much it costs.
Maybe
fair.
it's a business move from the arcades to try and get people to come again.
Maybe.
I was
It
going to
could be.
ask, from a business standpoint, why?
Yeah.
And yeah,
It might be that reason. I couldn't really tell you. I think it sounds awesome that it's a 130-inch 4K display, but it sounds really lame because I'm not going to go drive somewhere to play the new Halo game.
And
have like an
you and
arcade,
3
like-
friends can do it together. So it's 4 people can do it together, which is cool and
Okay,
different.
maybe we do need to go then.
It was made for us.
It was made for the odd man
Apparently, and it
out.
took years to develop. So
they started right after Halo 1.
Sure, probably not though. So I mean, and maybe I'm judging it too harshly. It just seems like not the Halo news people were waiting for.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, we were hoping for Halo 6, right?
Yeah,
We're hoping, Halo 6, and it's going to be an Xbox exclusive, and it's going to
take it back. and
bring back the franchise to its former glory.
with an amazing story and beautiful multiplayer and everything. And
Nope, you gotta go to the arcade.
So I mean, maybe it'll be good, and maybe we'll have to go and do something with it. But
If it ever comes to our area.
yeah, but
That
I don't
place
know.
in
It just
Draper,
seems
I'm
odd.
sure the bowling alley there.
Right.
That always has some pretty good games.
Ryan, we don't want to reveal where we live.
We live in Utah.
Well,
I've
there's
already
that.
tweeted out my address to everyone.
Oh, okay.
So
But yeah, they could add it to that bowling alley. I was thinking,
And the story could be good. I don't really know what the story is going to be. So maybe it's going to be such a compelling story that people love it.
That you have to stay at the arcade and
To play,
and you have to
yeah.
Every
keep
time you
putting in
die,
the
you keep
quarters.
putting in the quarters.
Or
I don't know how it's
credits
gonna
from the
work.
More
card,
like your
'cause-
chip on your card.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true nowadays.
It's
Insert your
a
chip
business
for
move
another
from the
5
arcades.
seconds. So
Yeah, so I don't know, but it just seemed weird to me that was the new Halo news.
I didn't even know that was the new Halo, so it's news to me. And the googly eye thing was also news to me, and that's why we do this news segment, because I'm out of the loop on everything, apparently.
You're usually in the loop on most gaming news. Though.
Yeah, except for this week. I mean, to be fair, the Google AI thing I didn't really look up. Actually, that sounds kind of scary to me, though.
I saw that. I actually heard it on the radio.
Oh, public radio?
Yeah.
I only listen to the top hit stations.
I heard it on the
commute
No.
to work.
Okay, so I saw it and I did have like a question. Like I know they wouldn't do this, but I did wonder like, what if it was just like a facade? Like it actually was a real person, and they do plan on like building it out, but they're like, oh, this is how cool it sounds, and it's like actually some dude, and it's like actually a big lie. It's a lie on a lie.
I'm sure if that happened, they would get like
Super bad press.
people
People would
be
sue their
pissed.
pants off.
Have you heard of Sophia, the lifelike robot?
Is that the one that does the facial expressions really well?
Oh, I
Yeah.
have heard about Sophia. And then I saw
too.
a press conference.
But just for those who don't know, what's Sophia the lifelike robot?
Well, it's just
scary.
It's just a bunch of engineers that are trying to create AI, obviously, and they named her Sophia, and they tried to give her a lifelike face and everything, and she actually does look fairly lifelike, and her face kind of moves
she
like a
wants
human.
babies.
Not completely, but they did
Don't
they did a
stick
series of videos. Oh my gosh,
Or
guys.
do. People love that stuff.
Darwinism.
They did a series of videos like kind of showcasing her, her technology. And for those 2 videos, she had like this British accent. And I was like, this sounds so lifelike. This is really creepy. Like, I can't believe technology has come this far. And then I found out later that it was voiced over. Her voice doesn't actually sound like that. She actually still just sounds like an actual robot. But
So they lied.
so they
Well,
lied.
they were trying to show off her, I assume, more than the actual
Yeah,
voice.
more than the voice. They were just trying to show off her, but I was still really disappointed.
That is
I don't know. That just made me think of that because you're talking about what if it was fake. But
Alright.
anyways, so the last bit of news, which is also going to tie into the main topic, is Black Ops 4 was revealed on Thursday. And it is revealed to not have a single-player campaign. It is only going to have zombies, which kind of has a story,
Which
but
are
not
awesome.
really. And but yes,
I
the
love
zombies
zombies.
looks amazing.
Is that the thing that showed up in the Blizzard store?
Yes, Black Ops 4 is going to be on the Blizzard Battle.net.
Why?
Whoa. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, either.
Well,
Weird.
It's popped up
so
at the bottom.
you got to Activision
I guess
and
it is
Blizzard.
Activision.
It's Activision.
Yeah,
Activision
that's
and
fair.
Blizzard. So and Destiny 2 is on the Battle.net
Destiny.
launcher.
Well, I knew Destiny too. So wait, Blizzard and Activision are partnered?
Yeah,
I didn't.
they're a partner
Well,
company.
I thought Destiny was just it was just that was the exception.
No, Activision owns Blizzard technically. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay,
They're-
so
they're-
Activision owns
yeah,
Blizzard.
come on, keep up, come on.
well, they own
Shut up.
they own Blizzard, but Blizzard is still kind of their own company at the same time. Obviously, they're just more partnered, and just Activision kind of controls all the money and stuff like that. They're the publisher, But yeah, so Black Ops 4 is going to be on PC through Battle.net. But yeah, there's only going to be zombies, and then there's the multiplayer, and then they're going to have a battle royale mode
Because
Of course they are.
everyone's going to announce that.
Oh,
because that's what
man.
everything's doing now is battle royale.
So I did see one of the CEOs or people, whoever it was, someone from Treyarch, they're developing Black Ops 4, said the reasoning behind not doing a campaign for it, and he's like more and more, or I guess less and less people are playing the campaigns. So like some statistic, I can't remember the exact number, but it was a
How
really
do they
low
know
number.
that, though?
I'm guessing they have some kind of way of tracking that when you play games. I assume they have a way to track all
Or
that.
they can also do,
A service.
Or see the
yeah.
achievements that people get. They probably have an achievement at the end of a game. And
Oh yeah, they do. That's right.
Yeah, and so people are playing them less and less, and they're saying, why would we want to spend our money and time and development resources creating a single-player game that 20% of the people are going to play and not focus on the 80% of the people, I don't know if that was the statistics, I'm just throwing that out there, and put in all of our resources, development time, money, and everything into that to make it the best.
Okay, sure.
So that was their reasoning.
Okay, the market sets the standard, yes. But then what was the case with Battlefront? Because Battlefront went back on that.
Yeah, it's because people remember the old Battlefronts. So I don't know, dude.
Plus, it's Star Wars. People always want a story for Star Wars.
And it is true. Like Call of Duty, a lot of people will just play the multiplayer. They don't care about the campaign. But when you're playing a Star Wars game,
people don't care about actual history.
well, Black Ops is in the future, so that's not history.
Oh, I mean, the rest of the Call of Duty games are.
Well,
mostly.
Not even mostly anymore.
There was
The ones I've played have been historically based.
You're behind on the times, Ryan. They're kind of going back that way.
Ghosts wasn't. It was future based.
Oh.
Everything since like 4. Until
World
they
War
went back to
II,
World War II.
Modern Warfare, World at War, the first few Call of Duties were all like back, and then now they're not. So.
Except for World War II, which they just had.
Which was
whatever
recent,
it was.
but
But
yeah.
that was the only one recently.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think it depends on the game. Like Battlefront, people want to play Star Wars campaigns.
Okay.
But maybe with Call of Duty, people don't. But people seem kind of angry. Although I watched the trailer and it looked pretty cool.
The multiplayer?
Yeah, the multiplayer
Yeah,
trailer.
I watched that
It looked
one
cool.
too. I only watched the Zombies the multiplayer trailer, but yeah, they both look solid. Don't get me wrong. It's just I don't know. I like campaigns in my
And
games.
I liked the Black Ops 3 campaign.
Yeah.
In fact, I played more of that than I did the multiplayer. I actually enjoyed the campaign, and I played a little bit of the multiplayer. That was it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah. So I guess we'll just go ahead and go straight to the main topic. Are single player campaigns going away? Are they becoming a thing of the past? Do people not like them anymore? So going off of Black Ops 4, some people are saying that they don't want to pay $60 for a game without a campaign because they feel like it's not worth $60 to not have a campaign. Like the multiplayer is only worth $40 to them.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Just because there are some times where I want to play that particular game without having to worry about playing against
sucking.
And sucking again, rather than playing against people who dedicate their lives to it. And like Titanfall 2, I love having the campaign there, just as a kind of a buffer, because like you can.
This is an overall great game too.
It's just it's a great game. I mean, and I was fairly decent at Titanfall. I never threw my controller out of frustration, but there were some times where it's just better to play the campaign than against other people.
Less stressful?
Yeah, it's more therapeutic, I think.
Well, plus, it tells a story too, and there's characters to learn about, and you care about them, and you want to see their story, and you want to be told a good story, and you want to have fun playing at the same time.
When did you switch your hat?
Earlier, I think Ryan was like smacking me for saying a pun, and I turned it around because you say that I need to turn it around so that my face shows up better on camera.
It's true.
But now that I've seen it on camera, I can switch it. Just kidding!
But anyways,
Well, how much did Overwatch cost?
It's $40 on PC.
I got it for $30.
Congratulations.
I got it for free.
Technically, you did, yes. But it's $40 on PC for the standard edition. Okay. On console, it's only $60 because it's only the deluxe edition on console, for whatever idiotic reason. Sorry, console players. I don't know why they screw you over like that.
What do you get in the deluxe version?
And you get all these like pre-order bonuses and stuff, but like nobody cares about them anymore or uses them anymore.
I mean,
so
there was what they had, the Overwatch Origins.
The Origins edition, that's what it is.
Where you get more.
You got some skins.
You get different skins, different basically loot.
Yeah.
You also get more access to like the comics. Is that right?
I didn't know about that.
Okay. I might be wrong.
The comics are free though. I can go look them up right now.
Maybe. But I don't. There might have been exclusive content to the story, but I don't really think so.
I don't
because
think
then
there
if people
was.
get it, and they can just
there
put
was
it online.
there wasn't even a story at launch of the game anyway. I mean,
well,
there was the background, but it's been fleshed out over time. But anyways, it's $40 standard edition on PC, and it's a multiplayer only game. So I think that's acceptable, and it's free content updates, which makes it even better, honestly. So, but for Call of Duty, I've played a few of the campaigns, the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, the Modern Warfare 3 campaign, first Black Ops. I think I played a little bit of the second Black Ops campaign, but not all of it. And there are people that even really enjoyed the Infinite Warfare campaign. Now that game got a ton of hate because it was all futuristic or whatever, and people didn't like it. But the people that played the campaign said it's one of the best Call of Duty campaigns ever made. So I think this is just, it's starting to become a trend that multiplayer is the future, because that's all everybody wants to play, is to play the loot crate filled multiplayer games. But I don't want that. I like my campaigns.
I think most everyone here would agree. I mean, I don't know if the reasoning behind the multiplayer stuff. I'm guessing is because they get more money that way. Because with multiplayer, there's a lot of these stuff where you actually have to buy, like the Battlefront 2 controversy, or like all these loot boxes, or like.
But I've never seen that issue in a Call of Duty game.
Which issue?
Having to buy stuff to unlock.
Well,
that's when they're hopping on board the bandwagon.
That's what they're doing now, especially with World War II, is when it's been becoming a real thing now. In fact, in World War II, you get an achievement for watching someone in multiplayer open loot boxes in the middle of the game. There's an achievement for it.
That's funny.
So that's the direction multiplayer is going. And I agree with Ryan, because they can offer all those weapon skins and your character skins and power-ups and stuff that you can monetize the multiplayer more, and you make up for all that money that you could have made by just having a campaign. So, and you might make more money. Like you said earlier, who said that, like, if they take out the campaign, they don't have to put all that resources into it? Cut the development costs and then make a crap ton more by monetizing the multiplayer. And then boom, the death of single-player games.
Huh. Well, I have a theory. Just thinking about
game. No, sorry, Matt. Pat.
It is a
wrong
game
channel.
theory. It literally is, and
Don't sue us, please.
actually,
I love you, Matt.
if he sees this, because he is subscribed, and I know he is. He was the first one.
Of course.
He's the first one.
So I'm thinking about why the rise of multiplayer, and I think it's for many different reasons. But one is because multiplayer is a lot easier to get the masses in now because of internet connection and stuff like that. Back in the day, multiplayer was friends coming together to play the games, and so back then, all games had to have a campaign. You had to have it because that's what people would play first and multiplayer second. And now that more people can actually be at home and play with all their friends or play with random people, the campaign isn't as necessary. And I think that just technologically that can help answer for part of the shift. Now, the demand for multiplayer games is, the details are in the market. They wouldn't be doing it if the market didn't, dictate it. And so, I'm with you. I love my campaign games, and I always want a story. But I still find myself playing multiplayer games with you guys or whoever else a lot because, for example, if I get on to play Heroes of the Storm, I know I can play a beginning, middle, and end to something in like 20 to 25 minutes. Whereas with campaign, if I spend an hour, who knows if I'll actually make any progress. I hopefully do, but still, it's like, did I accomplish a lot? Do I feel good about my gameplay? You don't really know. Now, you can lose a Heroes or League game and be upset at that, but at least you had a beginning, middle, and end, and there's sort of a completionist mentality to that. And I think that may be a reason why the demand is high, is because you can easily get that beginning, middle, and end easier than a campaign.
Well, I'm going to be a little bit of a devil's advocate here.
Do
Ryan's
it.
used to that.
Yep.
I think it's not necessarily a bad thing. Let me explain. So, I do enjoy when I have a game that has a campaign and then multiplayer, so I can go back and forth. But I've noticed this, and I think this might be a trend in general, is certain games are doing one thing or the other now. Like God of War doesn't have multiplayer as far as I'm aware.
No.
But it has a single-player campaign. Horizon Zero Dawn, same thing. We have Overwatch, just multiplayer, no campaign. I think games are deciding what it is that they want to be best at and what they focus at more and what people want from that kind of game. And they're sticking with that and leaving the other part away from the development so they can focus all their resources on one thing. Do I think then that should make it a little bit cheaper? Yeah, but I also think that could be said about having a game with just a campaign. Why did the campaign game have to be $60? There isn't a lot of replayability, for me at least. I don't often replay stories in games. I know a lot of people do that, But for me, I actually get more time out of a multiplayer game.
So you probably also don't have to spend as much on servers if it's just campaign games.
Right, and so I think maybe, and with making only multiplayer, maybe they could drop the costs because if it's cheaper for them, then maybe they could lower the price for us. But I think the same thing could be said about a campaign only game, because for me, I play it and I'm done. It was like Just Cause. Like, I had a lot of fun playing it. I never even beat it, actually. I should. But there is no multiplayer, and I think that would be a really fun one to have. But there isn't any, and so there's not a lot for me to go back to except for to play by myself if I want to play by myself. Same with Zelda. There's no multiplayer. Same with Skyrim. Great games. I've had a lot of fun. To be fair, I've put an exorbitant, way too much time, exuberant amount of time into Skyrim. So that might break the mold a little bit for me.
I don't even want to see how much my game time is on
Yeah, Skyrim. So I don't think all games need a multiplayer. I don't think Zelda needs one. I think it would be weird.
No, never.
But at the same time, I did spend $60 to play that game, but it does have a lot to do. But
crap
games
ton
that are a
of
little bit more linear, where the campaign is kind of fed to you and there's not a lot of openness for you to move around, maybe that shouldn't be $60 either, because there's not that much replayability and I'm actually going to get more out of multiplayer. So that would be my argument, is maybe that games are just focusing on what they do best, and we're seeing that more and more. Games that want to be multiplayer are only multiplayer, games that want to be campaign are only campaign. But we're not seeing any change in the cost for us.
That is an interesting point.
Yes,
actually,
it is.
But I'm been sitting here thinking for a minute. I can't think of very many games that only do one or the other. I mean now, but when I was growing up, pretty much every single game I played besides Zelda had both for the most part.
Right, but not anymore.
But I'm thinking of The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. There's so much content in that game. And it has no multiplayer. I absolutely think that game is worth $60. Mm-hmm. Super Mario Odyssey, that game is definitely... I mean, technically that does have multiplayer, but
it's not great.
But I think it's worth $60 too. But I can see what you're saying about how games that only focus on multiplayer, or how I guess it's a double standard to say, multiplayer only games should be $40. And then single-player games should also be $40. I could see why that's kind of a double.
Let's just lower the price for all of them.
Yeah. Look, can we have cheaper games, everybody?
Listen to me, I got the ideas.
I'm trying to think
to make you less money.
I wish I was a developer, because I don't know if it takes more development tools and time to develop multiplayer, or if it takes more time to develop single-player. I mean, God of War, that game probably took 4 or 5 years to develop that game.
Well, here's what I would say about multiplayer. Once it's established, it's pretty easy. But the same thing can be said about any single-player games. You can just reuse your assets. It becomes way easier. Mm-hmm. I would say the hard part about single-player is if you have voice acting and getting those people in, paying them.
I think about the artwork involved in a campaign because of the amount of detail that games have now and the openness.
But think of those multiplayer maps where they're super huge maps, like with Battlefront or Battlefield 1, huge giant maps with destruction, with tons of people, and when someone shoots, their bullet that has to register from their console to the server and then into you, or vice versa. It has to make sure that the bullets are hitting in the right place, explosions are being seen everywhere, that a plane hits you, you both die, but it has to register that plane exists there. In a campaign, a lot of that's scripted. There isn't too much that's going to change, so you can put a specific enemy in one place, make his animations work for that area, not have to worry about it. But in a multiplayer game, anything can happen.
Battlefield 1 has a campaign, though.
It does. It does. You're right. But I am just... My point was with the multiplayer itself. And the campaign's actually pretty good. I should beat that at some point.
Yeah.
But it does have a lot of multiplayer. But my thing is that that can't be cheap to keep up all those servers, to make sure that it's optimized to actually register when someone does anything and not lagging everywhere. So that would be my argument there, is it does cost a lot for that part. Okay,
that's fair. But so I'm going to ask this. How come for 10, 20 years, all the developers were okay with developing both and only getting $60 for both? But now they're being like, no, I want to only do multiplayer now. I don't want to put money into a campaign. But you were okay with doing that before.
I think part of it has to do with lifespan of a game. Multiplayer will just inevitably have more lifespan than a game with campaign.
But Modern Warfare 2 is regarded as one of the best Call of Duties, and it had both multiplayer and a campaign, and there are people still playing that game. It's almost 10 years old. But it has an amazing campaign and really good multiplayer.
Or Halo 3.
Halo 3.
Great campaign.
I
great
think
multiplayer.
developers are getting lazy. I'm just
Well,
gonna lay that
but
on the
I,
table.
I wouldn't say developers. I don't think it's their choice.
Maybe not developers. Maybe publishers.
CEOs of the company, I would say. Like the head people, presidents, and them. All them people who are above all of us, lowly
They
gamers.
want to just monetize the
Well,
games. now.
let's keep in mind that why do they do this?
Money.
They do it for money,
Mm-hmm.
and if they're in a board meeting, they're always going to make the choice that makes them the most money.
That's fair.
It kind of goes into what we talked about. AAA games versus indie games. How indie games don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about stockholders or anything like that. And so AAA games will always do what they believe, and with pretty good data, will make them the most money. We know a God of War multiplayer would not make money because of the audience that it has already would not want that. And so they're going to make a lot of money off of that audience that already exists. We can talk about God of War. It's kind of a cherry-picked game at this point. But what about now? What single-player games are coming out now that didn't have an audience to market to in the first place and has to establish itself as a good campaign game now?
Titanfall 2. Titanfall 1 did not have a campaign. Am I right?
You're right. Did not.
Wow. Okay, but it had an audience.
It did.
So something that had no audience.
Did it though?
What? So audience for multiplayer, or audience
No,
for
just an audience at all.
In general.
Yeah. So I'm not talking about So something that is fresh, brand new, that is just campaign.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Okay. When did that come out?
February 2017.
Okay, so it's new.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Five Nights,
okay, no, AAA games.
AAA. Okay.
Horizon Zero Dawn, I guess, would be a good example of that. It's a single player only. It's the first of that. It's a new. It was a new IP for Sony.
Okay.
So, and it did really well. It's almost at 10 million units sold. So,
Or the Elder Scrolls. I mean, that didn't start off as multiplayer. Now they have the Elder Scrolls Online.
No, I'm talking about now games that are fresh,
yeah,
coming out within the last year.
like
or
it's
they
a
are
new
coming out.
IP. Like there's no other
Yeah, I
like
know.
Horizon Zero Dawn is a
It's-
new IP.
Yeah, it's not based off of anything.
Hmm. It's just a completely
Besides that
new
game,
IP.
any other thoughts?
No, that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
That doesn't have multiplayer?
No,
That-
just a new game that is only single player in the past year,
No.
And AAA game.
and a AAA game.
I'd say most of the big ones that have come out.
Tell me.
Those are the ones. There haven't been that many that have come out.
So
There's so few games.
So are we answering the question? Is single player dying? Now, see, we can say, oh, no, because God of War just came out and it's doing great. But it already had an audience.
And
Are-
Zelda already had an audience.
Zelda-
Mario already had an audience.
Exactly. What new thing?
it is a risk.
And are companies going to take this risk? Because God of War wasn't a risk.
I mean, it was because they really changed it up and took it from its roots.
But it wasn't
that's
the
a
same
different-
risk.
That's a different.
But it was always a single player game
Yes.
with an
Right.
established character and an established world.
So, I mean, I understand what your point is, and I think that it would have to be a really, really well-made game, and that's a risk. Like The Last of Us, when that came out a while ago, don't even ask when because I don't know.
2013.
It did have multiplayer, but it was not the focus. But it was really good, but I don't know that they're going to put it in the second game because it didn't get the focus, and I'm sure it took a lot of development time because people who played said it was really good, but it wasn't the focus. So for them, it would probably be like, we don't want that in the second one. Or maybe they will, but that is an already established game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is a big risk to release a new game that doesn't have both, potentially. But especially that just has a story, that could be a huge risk for people nowadays because they're not going to get the casuals in as much.
So I guess what I've gotten from this discussion is it's like you said, at the board of directors meeting, it's what makes them the most money. And if the trend towards gaming right now is multiplayer games with monetization options such as loot boxes or microtransactions, that's what companies are only comfortable doing now because that's what's making them money. If they feel like there is no single player audience anymore and that's dying out with the times, then you're right. I guess it wouldn't make any sense from a business standpoint.
It might have sounded like a fart, but it was totally a sugar glider.
Yeah, it's
For some reason, he brought them. Maybe because he's their mother and he needs to nurse them
Yeah.
from time to time.
if you don't know what a sugar glider is, look it up. It's a marsupial. It's a
Or
cute
you might
little,
see it.
It's a cute little fuzzy creature.
Yeah, if Zabumafu decides to come out, I'll just leave it open.
Anyways, I forgot what I was saying now.
You were
But-
saying I was right.
Yeah,
talking about, like,
I
actual
technically I
characters.
was
Yeah.
saying you were
Yeah.
right. Companies are going to do what makes them money, and if the trend towards gaming is no more single player, because that's not what people want, that's not what's going to make anyone money anymore, then I guess you're right. Single player is dying because that's apparently nobody wants that anymore, which isn't true. I'm not saying that that's true, but in terms of games like Call of Duty, you know, it has a battle. Black Ops 4 has a battle royale mode now because of Fortnite and PUBG, because they're trying to monetize it because they want to make money on the new trend. And I'm not a fan of this. I really hope, at the very least, I hope that the companies and the developers that have always made single player games continue to make single player games, because I don't want single player gaming to die out completely. I want more Zelda.
I don't think it will.
And it won't.
But it's not going to be as big as it used to be.
I mean, the fact that we can think about brand new multiplayer
but we
games
also
that
don't
are
know
coming
every
out.
game. We could be wrong.
Yeah, but still, we understand what is generally popular right now. And the fact that we can think of plenty of multiplayer games that are new, that are coming out, but not new single-player games is a little daunting, and I think it tells a lot.
I completely agree.
My other question would be, does co-op campaign online count as multiplayer, or is that campaign? Because State of Decay 2 is coming out for Xbox.
It's already out, isn't it?
Yeah, it might have released. Anyways, it has co-op campaign. You can have like 4 people. It is a primarily one-person game, but it does, and I don't think it has any multiplayer out of that co-op. So does that count?
I think it revolves around a campaign. Yes, it's more of a campaign because you need like a friend to play with you, unless you can just like pick someone up. Like
It's barely a AAA game, though. I mean,
It's an indie game.
It's an indie game.
It
I mean,
is.
the developers said that this was considered AAA, but
The only
it's
AAA
$30.
one that I can think of is Diablo 3.
That's old, though.
That came,
No, but-
Diablo
but
3 is old, but it's still like
it wasn't established.
but it also
and it's online.
it's
It's an
online.
online multiplayer campaign.
Yeah.
But I agree with Tanner's point. It's hard to think of a brand new IP, a new franchise, a new series that is only single player in this day and age.
Although I think Spider-Man, which is going to be coming out, is only going to be
Probably.
single player.
It has an audience.
It does.
Spider-Man.
I'm just saying.
How would you make that multiplayer anyway?
Can you imagine fighting multiple Spider-Men all swinging around? That'd be awesome.
Or the other person just plays Mary Jane or something and
That would suck. It's like, you
Press
got picked
A
this
to
time.
kiss.
press A to kiss
Oh
Spider-Man.
no, be damsel. Press B to be damsel in distress.
Press X to be a strong, independent woman. And she just walks away.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, but yeah, I think that it is hard to be just a single player game, and I could be wrong about the cost of developing multiplayer versus single player, and it might be more expensive, and that's why it's part of a risk. But I think just casual people will pick up a multiplayer game because they can play with their buddy, and they can't in a co-op or in a campaign unless it's co-op. But I think
I
that
agree.
might be a problem. That's why they're doing that, because they're just like, why would we waste our time and money? If 100,000 people like it, that's not enough for Call of Duty. When 10 million like the other way.
right.
They're like, why we don't care about the 200,000 as much.
If the 10 million are going to make us the most money.
Yeah, especially if the costs we're going to save by not doing it is going to outweigh that dramatically. So yeah.
Well, Ryan, do your thoughts echo ours? Do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I really I hope that they don't get rid of single player games, because there are some times I just do not feel like playing online, and I know that I would hope that they stick around, but yeah, as far as I think that the companies are just going to be doing what's in their best interest money wise. Maybe once in a while they'll come out with a single player game, but just with how much money they're going to be able to make with these microtransactions or loot boxes, until people complain about that, or until the trend starts going back to single player games, I think we're stuck with the multiplayer system for a little bit.
Well, I have to agree with that. I hope that the next Mario and the next Zelda are pretty awesome, because I gotta have my single player games in my life.
Kingdom Hearts 3 will be good.
Kingdom Hearts 3, Metroid Prime 4 is gonna be pretty good as well, I'm sure.
So we still have plenty of single player games coming out.
It's just
it doesn't seem like we'll have any like new ones, like
Mm-hmm.
completely new ones.
Yeah, I agree, gentlemen. Well, any final thoughts before we sign off tonight?
No, other than we're actually going to be releasing a nostalgia put to the test video this week coming up. We weren't able to finish it last time, so we're going to be finishing that. And then we're also going to play Fortnite, but mobily.
With a twist.
With a twist, because what you'll see, we have to watch.
You have to click on that video to see what happens there.
Yep.
I don't know why I'm acting all clickbaity now.
Oh, do it. We got it. Click everything.
But yeah, be sure to check out all of our content that comes out on this channel, and be sure to tune in for the podcast every single week.
Share and subscribe.
And my name is Nick with the All Chat Gaming Podcast from the Odd Men Out.
Yeah, you did it right.
I'll have to keep
There's
practicing
something
that.
here. All Chat Podcast, Nick, Odd Man Out, something there.
Anyways, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Ciao.